Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I've lived in Wisconsin all my life, 66 years. I went to public schools and graduated from the University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire. I want to make two main points. Most of us are familiar with the statue of Abraham Lincoln on Bascom Hill in the University of Wisconsin. Most of us think that he is there because of freeing the slaves and winning the Civil War, but that's not the case. He is there because he passed, along with other Republicans, legislation that created the land grant of 1862, which ultimately ended up creating many of the university systems around this country. That's why his statue is there. He's at the one end of State Street. On the other end of State Street, we have the legislature, which is now occupied by the governor and also by the legislature. I think Honest Abe 6 years ago would have started looking at the situation and started shaking his head if he could as a statue. He looks down State Street and sees all the budget cuts to these last 6 years to schools, and then the yo-yo effect of now we're going to increase funding for the University of Wisconsin and public schools. What's next? 2 years from now, are we going to cut funding? Now the governor wants to restore this funding, but in the restoration of the funding, he wants it to be his way or no funding at all. Some people call that quid pro quo, or some people might call it bribery. The second point I want to make is that our condition of our roads in this state are terrible at best, poor at maybe at best. In fact, our condition of our roads is a metaphor for the conditions all around this state. Where are the 250,000 jobs after 6 years of Governor Walker? We are at 193,000. Maybe Walker was referring to Minnesota when he made that promise of 250,000 jobs, because they just passed 260,000 private sector jobs, way ahead of our state. Cutting your way to prosperity is no way. Trickle down doesn't work. We are at the bottom of public health funding per capita, $13 per capita versus the national average of $31. We're at the bottom in Medicaid reimbursement for nursing homes and the patients in Medicaid, under Medicaid. Over the last 5 years, 17,000 more people have left our state and moved out of our state than moved in. Just across the river in Minnesota, 37,000 people moved in versus moving out. I know they moved there because of the weather, but they certainly didn't move there because of the football teams. The travesty at Lincoln Hills is now under FBI investigation, with severe staff shortages documented. The maltreatment of our veterans at King's Home, severe staff shortages and under investigation. We have a severe teacher shortage. Fewer and fewer college students are going into education. And the answer from our governor? Reduce the standards so that we could have more teachers. This is not the way that I had projected that our state would head. You need to really step back as budget committee members and ask yourself the question, would Abraham Lincoln approve of what we've been doing here? Probably not. Thank you.